It's Monday, November 21st, and this is Drive Check, a Cardfight Vanguard podcast. I know it's my bedtime, it's not your bedtime.
Yeah, it's only 6:30 here.
Are you a sweetie boy or are you a salty guy?
Salty, welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
No, you're a sweetie boy. I know you're a sweetie boy. I've seen you. You are a sweetie boy.
Oh,
Me?
that's so kind of you.
I am a salty guy.
A salty guy?
Because you and Cole just stomped all over my dreams of enjoying Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Let's be real though. Are you really enjoying that game?
Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair. I was enjoying it at my own pace, and then everybody else in the world and the internet is all like, Will, you're not going fast enough. Here, let me show you all the things that you haven't seen yet that we feel that you should have seen. And I'm like, well, I would have been real excited to have seen that, but now you've sucked all the incitement out of my soul, and here I am, back to Vanguard.
Just which even further sucks from your soul.
No, that just sucks from my paycheck. Oh, dude, I did it again last night.
Oops, you did what again?
I did a Britney Spears. You're right. Oops, I did it again. I was lying in bed, kind of half falling asleep, drowsing away, as they say, drowsy. I was drowsy. You know that Pokemon? And I, on my phone, went to tcgplayer.com and...
Oh, no. What did you purchase this time?
I ordered 3 Flageolet Messiahs and 2 Lady Battlers of the White Dwarf.
Do you have those yet?
No, I mean, they're coming from Hawaii.
That's
Oh, no, yeah, no, I didn't buy cards that I already have, no.
Oh, okay.
But I only have 1 Flageolet Messiah, and 1 ain't gonna do it, so...
Well, at least this purchase wasn't as hurtful in your wallet.
As egregious as, yeah, well, it was still $45, so...
It's a lot better than, like almost $300?
I've never done $300 in one shot.
How much was the Amnesty Messiahs?
They were $50 each, and I only bought them like 2 at a time.
No, you bought you said you bought 4 in your sleep.
No, I bought like 2 in my sleep.
Okay.
Or maybe it was like the Exelix Messiahs that I bought. That's a large
Who
number.
knows? Anyways, pull up a chair.
I've already...
Do you know that's my new Twitter handle? Not my handle, but that's my name. My name on Twitter is now Pull Up a Chair.
At Pull Up a Chair? That's almost as good as at Wash in the Sink.
It's at... one sec as I go to check Twitter to see if at Pull Up a Chair is available.
And you're going to make that yours for all eternity?
I think I have to at that point.
So you're home for the holiday. Like that famous movie that Hollywood made at one point in time, Home for the Holiday. So
that's with Adam Sandler, right?
No, this is before your time. Did you bring any Vanguard cards home with you?
Unfortunately, I did not. And unfortunately, at Pull Up a Chair is taken. And that makes me so sad. It's one of those egg Twitter accounts with 4 followers.
You got to complain about that. You got to complain to Mr. Twitter about that.
I'm gonna do it. Pulling Up a Chair is also taken.
No, that's not quite the same as Pull Up a Chair.
Pull Up a Chair 1 is also taken. Why is this that? What?
Do you realize we have some bizarre ASMR that's driving people completely... We've probably caused like car crashes just from us saying pull up a chair. People hear us say that and they're like, they get tingles and stuff, and they're like, oh.
They get sent to the trigger zone.
They trip out, and I'm not gonna... No. Trigger zone's a bad place. We take them to good places. The best. We take them to
Flavor Town.
Oh, delicious. So, did you bring any Dragon Ball Z cards with you?
I didn't bring any cards with
You
me.
are
I was
not
kind
going to
of.
be playing any TCGs this entire break.
I'm not. You're correct. Well, on Saturday, I'm going back on like Friday or Saturday, and I'll play something. But
All right.
I wasn't expecting to stay down here. I was expecting to go home and then come back again. And then I realized, why would I do that? That makes no sense. Gas is expensive. And so
Wow.
here I am.
Gas isn't expensive in this day and age.
Oh, have you been to California, William Anderson?
I've never
Have
been
you
to
been
California. I do enjoy that Tupac music video, but that's about the extent of it right there.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know. California does know how to party.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear. I'll come visit sometime.
In the city of Compton.
Yes, I have already referenced said video. I got to play some Vanguard with Micah on yesterday morning. Instead of playing Pokemon, I took some time aside to play my newly tailored Link Jokers deck. I've got my Link Joker babies back in my hands. It feels so good, so right to be playing those Link Jokers. And I have a new avatar.
Ooh.
Lady Battler of the Black Dwarf. She does everything for me that I expected her to. She is my Boujin, whatever.
There you go. That's better.
She's my Bokuno, but I don't ride her in the Vanguard. She's always a rear guard. She has to be a rear guard. She does exactly what I want her to do, which is win games and have multiple high-powered attacks. Did we have any mistakes last week?
Not that I know of. So
I think we did, but I don't remember what it was. Because we're recording so late and I'm so tired. You've just sucked the soul right out of me. Everything's sucking the soul out of me. All the joy of existence. I just want to go back to Alola.
Well, you know what? You know what might help with your hopes? You know what helps me when I'm down in the dumps?
What helps you when you're down in the dumps?
Well, pull up a chair and I'll tell you.
I can't. I sit on the floor when we record, but please go forwards.
Pull up a tile. Pull up a carpet. Pull up whatever you must.
I am sitting on my carpet.
This just in, we're announcing the Drive Check Podcast's holiday Skype Battle Royale tournament majigger.
But you did it out of order.
I know I did, but
are you that excited?
You sounded like you needed some good news, William.
I'm excited. So
I'm excited too.
Who requested it? Somebody requested it.
Well, let me go through the email at drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, so somebody requested that we do a Skype tournament for you folks, and Cole and Jack were like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And then I said, well, we're going to do it anyways.
And I have updates. It's from Ram H. He was the one that suggested this. And so we're going to roll with it, apparently.
Oh, and I should have mentioned also that it was Richard H., who has also emailed us, I believe, who mailed us some cards, which I greatly appreciate because there were some cards that I needed. And he only mailed you one card because you were mean to the Narukamis.
Well, that's okay.
You're supposed to cry. There you go. So, yeah, we'll have more details as we figure out exactly how we're going to run it. I've done a few online Pokemon tournaments, so I have some ideas of ways that we can do. It's going to be like people have to be honorable and, be honest about doing their games and playing honestly. You're all Drive Check fans, so and we'll see if there's going to be a prize or not, or if the prize will just be the glory of being the first winner of the first ever holiday battle royale. Probably will take place. Yes, sir.
Cole? I just wanted to get your opinion on that real quick, Cole.
Cole, what do you think?
Cole.
No, Cole.
This week, what a surprise.
Oh, so sad. And it's like he's not even in class. That's the worst thing about it.
I know.
With a girl.
Have you ever heard of the statement, bros?
Make sure my mother can hear what you are about to say, sir. Because she listens to every episode.
I wasn't gonna finish it.
Thank goodness. I am familiar with the phrase. You know what I'm also familiar with? Bushiroad's new announcement of how they're going to be handling Vanguard tournaments.
Well, you see here, if you're familiar with it, maybe you should handle it, because I'm definitely not familiar with it.
Well, historically, except in Greece, most Vanguard tournaments, or when Bushiroad holds a competition, they typically do Vanguard on Saturdays and then Weiss Schwarz and Buddy Fight on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And the popularity of Vanguard has become so great that Vanguard will now be held over 2 days.
Oh, man.
So the first day they say 7 rounds of Swiss, but they're probably going to need to adjust that because...
Oh, whoa there. Are you saying that we don't have to deal with double elimination anymore?
Well, let's read this like intelligent people who...
Okay. Well, you see here, I got to find it first. So how would if one wanted to read up on this themselves and follow along, where would they find this?
On the internet. I think a wild beast just entered your home. So here's the information. You ready for the information?
I'm pulling up my chair currently.
Good. As you're not in a closet, even though you're home, strangely enough. The
plot twist, I moved to a closet because the strange beast was coming to attack me.
Oh, Lord. Card Fight Vanguard Regional Championships with 2-day tournament schedule. 7 rounds of Swiss on day 1. Best of 1, though. Not best of 3. Top 32, 64, or 128 players will advance to day 2. So that's why they're keeping it to 7 rounds on day 1. Yes. So just whatever the breakout is, that determines day 2 will have that size. All right. Yes. For day 2, before the top 8, there will be 3 rounds of Swiss that are best of 3.
Oh, snap.
And
best of 3.
Day 2 pairings will be based on overall scores of both days. Players may be paired with previous opponents they played with the day 1 if there are no other opponents available with a clear or closer record. And then when they get to top 8, it's single elimination, best of 3. So it's still going to be long competitions, but I think what they're going to get is, well, first off, they get to use Swiss, which means that everybody gets to play more games and play for longer. So you don't take the trip to a regional competition and get knocked out in the second round. And hopefully this will help them manage larger crowds. It's, let's see. So they determine the number of players that can advance to day 2. If there are fewer than 256 participants, then 32 people go to day 2. From 256 to 511, it's 64 people, and then if they have greater than 511 participants, it's 128 people that will make it to day 2. So this is an interesting change. I think it's kind of encouraging and listening to what the fans have asked for in order to make the competitions more worth going to. What do you think, Jack?
It's still best of 1, so... But it's better than before, but it's still best of 1.
It's still best of 1, but it's best of 1 Swiss. So the rounds will go fast, but you are guaranteed to get to play 7 rounds. So.
Yeah, that's very true. And it'll help with tiebreakers and such. It's definitely a lot better than what they were doing before. But like it said here, like in like quotations or in parentheses, it says like the 2-day tournament, like the days may take place on separate weekends, which seems a little odd to me.
Does it really say that?
Yeah, it says may, so like that's probably just gives them the option if they want to do it. But like, if you are traveling from far, then that kind of rules out these tournaments for you.
We'll have to see how it goes. I'm sure they'll announce if it is going to be spread over multiple weekends before.
I don't know. Did you see what happened with Greece?
Would you stop? I want to know which of these regional tournaments we're going to be attending.
Oh, well, my goal, if I can get a steadier job, is to go to all of them. Not really. Go to a lot of them.
All right. Good luck with that, my friend. Well, that's our news. What is our topic?
Well, you see, considering I'm back home and there's kind of been like a gloom over my head, I think it's about time we embrace the shadows and give in to the Shadow Paladins.
So, not only a gloom over your head, a gloom over the world. Oh, the world has fallen into peril, and who can save us from these dark days but an even darker hero?
Ren Suzugomori.
I meant Blaster Dark, but sure.
Oh, well, they're the same character, pretty much.
Well, that's his avatar.
Yeah.
So we are going to discuss the Shadow Paladins and a couple of different builds of the Shadow Paladins. Jack, what was your introduction to the Shadow Paladins?
Well, my introduction to the Shadow Paladins was long ago when I was originally, I think, very early on in high school. I was like, oh, these Shadow Paladins, they look real cool. Too bad I don't have a job and I can't afford them ever. And then recently, over the summer, I was enticed by a deal, and I traded off my Angel Feather AF deck for something a little more manly, something darker, something more brooding, and that is the Shadow Paladin Diablo build. And so now I have that deck.
Well, you had that deck.
Well, I still have the deck.
You sacrificed some of the cards to me.
I did.
And they have become mine.
The main deck is still functional. The Stride deck will still be functional in January when we get the reprint set. I'll pick those up again.
So your Aura Geysers are winging their way across the nation to me.
They are.
I'm very excited for this. A lot of people expect me to lock their rear guards, and how surprised they will be when I start disposing of their rear guards and disposing of my rear guards callously. Yes, I don't remember why I decided to go into the Shadow Paladins, but they certainly do appeal.
They're a fun deck. Just the whole concept of, at least the Diablo build, the whole concept of like comboing off and like blowing up your opponent in like 1 or 2 turns is really fun, because like it's all about stalling and controlling and stall, and then all of a sudden you blow up and they're dead.
I enjoy controlling.
Yep.
So where did we first see the Shadow Paladins in the television program?
Well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen season 1 yet, but we've already talked about season 1, so I'm sure if you were a real fan, you would have already listened to that episode. Shadow Paladins were introduced in the anime in a little bit into season 1, played by the main the main antagonist of Ren Suzugomori, who and the Shadow Paladins as a clan are so enticing that they even convinced Aichi Sendo to play them for a short while. And then even when he went back to Royal Paladins, he still played Blaster Dark in his Royal Paladin deck. Which
was was it the Alfred build?
The Lord Blaster.
Majesty Lord Blaster. Shame on me.
I had that deck at one point. That deck was also it was like Angel Feathers, where the deck was dumb, but it just wasn't really fun to play. And I finally have found my home with the Diablos, I think. And then for the card game, we got Shadow Paladins in BT04 Eclipse of Illusionary Shadows.
So that's Booster Set 4 was the first one.
Yes. And that's when we first got Blaster Dark and Phantom Blaster Dragon.
And like the Shadow Paladins originally, I don't know if they still do, but they had a tendency to have a lot of cards that were mirrors of the Royal Paladin cards.
Oh, they most definitely did. I don't believe they do now, but now they're kind of their own thing. But Like they had Blaster Dark, and then they had I think it's just Blaster Dark.
Well, no, they had other things like the Little Sage Marin had a parallel, and
but now they've kind of evolved further beyond that.
Now they have their own thing. They come from the Abyss. They come from the dark side of the United Sanctuary. It's not all sweetness and light in United Sanctuary, strangely enough.
It's not all cornfields and country music.
Oh, if only everything could be cornfields and country music, I'd be a happy guy. Can we turn this into the cornfields and country music cast? Because I've got some new country musicians that I would love to talk about.
Alrighty. Well, maybe once I start liking country music,
I'll work on you. I'll get you there. You don't know.
Anyways, so Shadow Paladins as a clan, they generally revolve around sacrificing, retiring your own units and as well as your opponent's units to gain more powerful effects. And they are a part of United Sanctuary, as Will mentioned earlier. But almost every clan in Vanguard is a part of United Sanctuary.
Only like 25% of the clans are part of United Sanctuary.
It's most definitely more than 25% of the clans.
So I think on a high level, Shadow Paladins are definitely about rearguard manipulation, and a lot of that is the actual term is sacrifice your own rearguards to get power-ups and effects and boosts and pay the cost for skills and such. How is that different from Tachikaze?
Well, you see, Vanguard is kind of it's not a very, at least at first, it wasn't a very widespread, developed game. So a lot of the effects are very, similar to those of other clans. They're just, a lot of them are, similar to other clans, or they're, a combination of a few clans. It's definitely similar to, it's Shadow Paladins are, Royal Paladins, Tachikaze, and Kagero, all combined into one skill. And they just do some of them weaker.
But yeah, for those that don't know, Tachikaze are the dinosaurs, and technically, here's the difference. They eat their rear guards to become more powerful, as opposed to sacrificing them. Dinosaur cannibalism.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about a few of the different Shadow Paladin builds that have happened over time. What we're not going to touch on is, I guess there's 3 different builds that we're not going to go through. One being the Revenger build. So the Revengers came about after the Gold Paladin time. So it was really at the start of the time when they started to have subclans. So Revengers became the Shadow Paladin subclan. Not much going on with Revengers these days. That may see a change. What?
You say there's not much going on with them now, but that deck, from the time it came out until very recently, I think in the history of Vanguard, there's never been a single deck more long lasting in the meta than the Revenger Legion build.
Really?
Yeah, most definitely.
What made it so special?
When it first was released, it was so overpowered, and it just took a long time for the rest of the power creep to catch up to the deck, is what happened.
Well, do you know what gave it its power?
The Legion is stupid. It's just stupid.
What does it do that's so stupid?
It's still stupid now. Well, you see here, if I go to good old the wiki, and you go over to a Revenger Phantom Blaster Abyss, and if you click on the card and you read it, and it says Legion.
Wait. Pull up a chair.
Yes.
Pull up a chair. Okay.
Legion, 2,000 or 20,000 power. Blaster Dark Revenger Abyss. Counterblast 2, choose 3 of your rearguards with Revenger in the card name and retire them. During the turn that this unit legions, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard, you can stand this unit, or stand all of your Vanguards. And then this ability can't be used for the rest of the turn.
So it's a restander?
It's a restander. And then when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets plus 2,000 power. So basically, it's a 22,000 Vanguard that can attack twice. For Counterblast 2, retire 3. And a lot of your units get effects when you retire them, and a lot of revenge. So basically that was the easiest way to restand in the game, and it it stayed as such for a long time, and it was still a very dominant deck for a long time.
Raging Form dragons, which we're not going to go into too much detail. What does the Raging Form do?
Well, Raging Form, I'll go into two of those cards. There's the old Raging Form dragon, and then there's the new Raging Form Stride. But Raging Form Revenger Raging Form dragon originally is a limit break 4. Choose 3 of your rear guards with Revenger in the card name and retire them. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, you choose a Raging Form dragon from your hand and ride it as stand. And then your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power. And then Counterblast 1, when this unit attacks, you can pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets plus 3,000 power till the end of the turn. Or until the end of the battle.
So another extra stand.
Another extra restander. And then the Stride. The Stride is called True Revenger Raging Wrapped Dragon. And so what this card does is limit break 4, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose 2 grade 3 Abyss Dragons from your hand and discard them. And then you choose 2 of your rear guards and retire them. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you have a heart card with Raging in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, put this unit face up in your G zone, and then you choose a face down True Revenger Raging Wrapped Dragon from your G zone, and then stride it as Vanguard, and it gets drive -1. So basically, you can restride, and you get a twin drive. But you have a higher discard cost.
So you have 5 drives per turn.
Yes, as opposed to 4.
That's a bit excessive.
So it's a bit excessive. And there is one more grade 3 that goes. It was a new grade 3 that was revealed, or that was released, and that is Revenger Slay Hex's Dragon. So it's Counterblast 1. When this unit is placed on the Counterblast 1, choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on Vanguard by riding a unit with Revenger in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, you search your deck for up to 1 card with Raging Form Dragon, and you ride it as stand, and then shuffle your deck. And then if you wrote a card, choose a card named Revenger Slay Hex's Dragon from your soul and put it into your hand. So basically, you Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. If you ride this unit, then you can search your deck for a Raging Form Dragon and then put this card back into your hand. So basically, it guarantees that you ride Raging Form Dragon, and then you still have Abyss Dragons in your hand to discard for the Raging Form Stride. So it's really good.
Yeah, for a set for a build that we weren't going to cover, I think you've gone into pretty good detail on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, every other you have your different grade 3s, and then other than that, every Shadow Paladin deck is fairly similar to one another. A lot
of the Shadow Paladin decks are very similar. One of them that's not so similar is the original Gangster.
Okay.
Phantom Blaster Overlord. So this is not Majesty Lord Blaster. This is Phantom Blaster Overlord. And how does that dude go?
Well, you see here, this is back in the day, the OG. Your starter is a full bow, not full bow Diablo, not full bow Brave, the original full bow. You got 8 crits, 4 draws, 4 heals. Your grade 1s, you got 4 Blaster Javelins, you got 4 Dark Shield Macklers, you got 4 Black Sage Charons, and you got 2 Nightmare Painters. Then for your grade 2s, you got 2 Blaster Darks, 3 Darkness Maiden Machas, 2 Skull Witch Nemains, and 4 Knight of Nullity Masquerades. For your grade 3s, you got 4 Phantom Blaster Dragon and 4 Phantom Blaster Overlord. So this came out in set 5 alongside. So this is the introduction of Cross Rides. So this is a Cross Ride deck, along with the introduction of Dragonic Overlord the End and Majesty Lord Blaster. And so basically those 3 decks were kind of dominant in the meta for a little while, up until I don't remember what replaced them. But those 3 decks were kind of like the big 3 in the meta for a long time. And there was an updated version of Phantom Blaster Dragon. So instead of the original Phantom Blaster Dragon, if you wanted to run 4 of the Break Ride Phantom Blaster Dragon, it's the same name. So you can't run 4 of this Phantom Blaster Dragon and 4 of the old Phantom Blaster Dragon. But it's a break ride. So whenever you ride your Phantom Blaster Overlord, you kind of cross ride on top of a break ride. So it just makes it all a lot better.
All right, cool.
And there's no stride deck for that deck because it's an OG legacy deck.
All right,
I think one build that's really different though would have to be the Witches deck.
What a nice segue! Thank you. So the witches were, I don't know if they were ever popular, but they came about during the Legion Mate series of the cartoon, which we haven't discussed yet because it comes after Link Joker, and we're just not that far along in our follow along with us discussions of the cartoon. But it was played by one of the characters in Legion Mate, Rati Kurti, and my mom's a big fan of the witches build. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on how you would put together a witch's deck because it's actually only received one stride with the witch name in it. But just to understand the way that the witches work, they focus on, they have effects that, well, instead of retiring your rear guards, although some of them do some of that, they force your opponent to either take grade zeros from their drop zone and put them on the rearguard circle, or replace existing cards that are on rearguard circles with grade zeros from their deck. So you're basically telling them to pull out like the top 5 cards of their deck, and then any grade zeros there you can have them put on rearguard circles and things like that. And then with the legions, so let's go through a couple of the cards here. The main ones are the 2 Legion cards. So the first one is Mesmerizing Witch Fianna, not Fiona, Fianna. And her Legion is Witch of Reality Femme. And what Fianna will do is for Counterblast 2, if she's in Legion, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards with a rear guard on the circle. Your opponent reveals 10 cards from the top of his or her deck, chooses a grade 0 card equal to the number of rear guards chosen from among them, calls those cards to those separate rear guard circles, and shuffles his or her deck. So you replace 2 of their rear guards with zeros, grade zeros. And if you keep in mind, grade zeros are typically the trigger cards, so you're taking triggers out of their deck, so they cannot actually get them on drive or heal checks. Also, second activated ability, choose a rear guard with the same card name as a unit on the vanguard circle and retire it. If the number of grade 0 rear guards your opponent has is 2 or more, draw 2 cards. This ability cannot be used for the rest of that turn. So once again, retiring a specific rear guard, and then you get to draw 2 cards for her. And then the other primary stride, Cultist Witch Rias. And she will, did I say stride? She's a legion. She legions with Inspection Witch Deirdre. So Rias, choose one of your rear guards with witch in its card name and retire it. So any witch, and hopefully your entire deck will be made out of witches. There are enough Shadow Paladin witches that you can do that. When this unit is in Legion, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's vanguards, and that unit gets power minus 5,000 for each of your opponent's grade 0 rear guards until the end of turn. So that just sucks away their power. You can get them all into negative power if you have enough, if you've replaced enough of their rear guards with grade 0s. Second activated ability, Counterblast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards circles with a rear guard on it, and your opponent reveals 5 cards from the top of his or her deck, chooses a grade 0 card from them, calls it to that rearguard circle, and shuffles his or her deck. So once again, just replacing one of their existing rearguards with a grade 0. And how polite that they say his or her. Interesting translation. The cards that these guys legion with are not that exciting. Femme is just a... she gets plus 2,000 if the Vanguard has Witch in its name, so she's an 11k attacker. Inspection Witch Deirdre. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Witch in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rearguards with a rearguard circles with a rearguard. Your opponent chooses a grade 0 from his or her drop zone and calls that to the rearguard circle. So Inspection Witch doesn't do anything special when she's in Legion, but she does give 9,000 power to the card that she legions with. There is a stride for the witches. Witch Queen of Transfiguration Sinclair. And once per turn, counterblast 1. I see. Now, I don't understand Sinclair, so you might have to explain her to me, Jack. If you have a heart card with Witch in its card name, and your opponent has 2 or more grade 0 rear guards, your opponent reveals 10 cards from the top of his or her deck, chooses a grade 0 card from among them, rides it as stand, shuffles his or her deck, and until the end of turn, that unit gets counterblast 1. At the beginning of the guard step of the battle that your unit was attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose any number of cards from your hand and call them to the guard circle as rested. And at the end of the turn, choose up to 1 card from your soul and ride it as stand. So I understand that it forces 1 card out of the soul. So they can't. It takes away their ability to soul blast 1 and takes up a rearguard circle.
Well,
but what is this using?
So what it does is they have to counterblast. If they don't counterblast, then they so they can't guard without counterblasting. First of all, is what I'm taking from that. And second of all, choosing 1 from soul and writing it as stand is like at the end of the turn, their grade 0 goes to their soul, and then they can put their original Vanguard back on top as their Vanguard for their next turn.
Oh, does it replace the Vanguard with a 0?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I thought you said.
Hold on. Oh, rides it as
There you go.
Because there's no picture of the Vanguard circle. Oh, that makes it so much clearer. So you replace their Vanguard with a 0.
Yes.
Which is real unpolite.
Yes.
And then they get to, they can take any card, but it can be the original Vanguard and put it back on top. Wow. Well, there you go. There's Sinclair. Witches are not particularly popular right now, but who knows?
Or have they ever been popular?
Well, it's during that time when we weren't playing.
Oh, for sure.
They were the biggest thing ever. But they may get more support. Who knows? It may be, that's a different kind of control that people get into. Or you may just build a witch's deck and surprise your friends. I believe I once heard Jack complain that one of his friends showed up with a bunch of different witches decks from different clans and did him some damage.
Well, you see here, he didn't bother playing the Shadow Paladin witches deck.
Ah, sure. Okay. All right.
He played Royal, or not Royals. He played OTT and Genesis.
Let's get into the real builds. The build that I'm holding in my hand right now and
the meat and potatoes
shuffling, and the one that was birthed. How was it? 2 years ago, about?
Oh no! This current build
01.
I think it's like a year and a half, and then this updated build is like the most competitive it's ever been, and is still currently fairly competitive.
But it started, I said, it saw its birth with Legend Deck 01.
Yes, and so that build is the Diablo Shadow Paladins, the cream of the crop, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna run through the list real quickly, and then we can point out some certain cards that make the deck tick. Even though it's not Gear Chronicle, the deck can still tick. For grade 0s, you got Full Bow Diablo as your starter. You got 8 crits, 4 draws, and 4 heals. For your grade 1s, you got 4 Pitch Black Sage Karen, 4 Karma Collectors, 4 Black Chain Spirit Dance Formation Kaiden, and 2 Dark Heart Trumpeters. For your grade 2s, you got 2 Blaster Dark Spirit, 3 Dark Saga Painter, 2 Dark Knight Maiden Matcha, 4 Black Chain Flame Dance Formation Hoel. Grade 3s, you got 4 Blaster Dark Diablo, 3 Death Spray Dragon, 1 Whirlwind of Darkness Vortimer Diablo, and then you got 4 for your grade 4s, 4 Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablo, 2 Dark Dragon Spectral Blaster Diablo, 3 Supremacy Black Dragon Aura Geyser Dragon, 1 Supremacy Black Dragon Aura Geyser Doomed, 2 Dark Dragon Carnivore Dragon, 3 Dark Dragon Plotmaker Dragon, and 1 Dark Element Dismal.
Which one's the G Guardians?
Dark Dragon Plotmaker Dragon.
And what's his G Guardian skill?
Ritual, I believe it's Ritual 3. gets plus 10k shield.
Oh, well, not hard to do.
Nope.
So why do you like Full Bow Diablo over Promising Knight David?
Well, you see, Full Bow Diablo, what he does, do you want to read that card off real fast, Will?
All right, Full Bow Diablo. When this unit is put into the drop zone from the rearguard circle for the cost of your unit's ability, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, search your deck for up to one card with Blaster Dark in its card name, and call it to the rearguard circle. And shuffle your deck.
Exactly. And so what you do with this card is it kind of allows you to get off a cool combo that lets your opponent that gets rid of most of your opponent's field, so they cannot stop the overwhelming tide of Dark Dragon, Phantom Blast, or Diablo. And so the cards
how does that work?
So first of all, the grade 3 Death Spray Diablo or Death Spray Dragon. So what he does is he is a Counter Blast 1, Gen Break 1. Choose one of your other rearguards and retire it. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So basically what you do is you retire your Full Bow Diablo. And when you retire your Full Bow Diablo, you retire one of their units and you call Blast Dark Spirit. What Blast Dark Spirit does is you choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rearguards in the front row and retire it for a Counterblast 1 when he's called. So basically you use that little combo. So for Counterblast 2, you're retiring 2 of your opponent's cards.
All right. Well.
And then but wait, there's more. Oh no, it's grade 2 or less rearguards, my bad. Anyways, so after that, so that gets rid of 2 of your opponent's rearguards. Then when you stride into Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster Diablo, you use Blaster Dark Diablo's ability to retire one of your opponent's rearguards, which you can do whenever you stride on top of him with a Diablo. So that's retiring. You've retired now 3 of your opponent's rearguards, and then if your opponent cannot retire 2 rearguards when they are attacked by Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster, Diablo, then they can't guard from their hand. So they have to G guard in order to stop it. And it takes sometimes 2 or 3 G guards to stop that attack.
Well, they better have a lot of heal triggers in their hand.
Exactly. And so that's basically what the deck is all about, is getting that combo off.
So you're not asking for any special crits, draws, anything like that?
Well, no. I personally play the Legend deck ones because they're all shiny. But other than that.
Well, they're all shiny if you have 4 of the Legend deck.
Well, you see here, I got my deck from Connor Morgan, a.k.a. the Rarity. So I can't.
You mean the Rarity Collector, I think is the word that you meant to use.
Sure. All right. Okay.
So our grade 1s here. I'm going to read this one.
Yeah.
You've selected Pitch Black Sage Charon or Charon.
Yes.
Choose a grade 3 card from your hand and reveal it. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card with Blaster Dark in its card name. Reveal it to your opponent and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck, choose a card from your hand, and discard it. So it's basically a grade 3 finder, which we typically see as a stride fodder, but for some reason this one's not a stride fodder because she has a continuous ability on the rearguard circle. While you are retiring your rearguards for the cost of your unit's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, retiring this unit may be regarded as retiring 2 rearguards.
Exactly, which is why it's good, and that's why you play for it.
So she's delicious. All right,
yeah.
Karma Collector. What is a Karma Collector?
That's your perfect guard. That if you have another Karma Collector in your drop zone, Karma Comedian, you unflip damage. So he's your GPG, your unflipper PG.
All right, and we have the card that is from what was that show about the fast food people that came to life? With Meatwad, Master Shake.
Meaty? I don't know.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. All right.
Oh, thank you.
This card is
I do actually know what that show is.
Inspired from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It is Black Chain Spirit Dance Formation Kahaden. So if you understand where I'm coming from, then you understand where I'm going. GB1, when this unit is put into the drop zone from the rearguard circle for the cost of your unit's ability, if you have a Vanguard with Diablo in its card name, choose up to one of your Vanguards, and until the end of turn, it gets plus 5,000 and auto. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, search your deck for up to one grade 1 card, call it to the rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and if there is a unit named Black Chain Flame Dance Formation, Hoel, on your rearguard circle, the unit called with the effect gets power plus 5,000 until the end of turn. So you're getting a power boosts. You get to do all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's specifically for Diablo builds only.
Yes.
All right. What other grade 1 have we not talked about?
Dark Heart Trumpeter.
I don't think I have that one.
Well, you see here, Will. I don't have my cards with me, so
I have Cherishing Knight Bronwyn, which is the stride fodder, but you told me that
you need
I
to take
should not have because Blaster Dark Diablo is gonna solve all my woes.
Yes, so Dark Heart Trumpeter, Soul Blast 1, when this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, so it's also Gen Break 1, you can pay the cost. If you do, you search your deck for one grade 1 or less not called Dark Heart Trumpeter and call it to rearguard. So basically for a Soul Blast 1, you get to fill up your field.
All right, and going into the ancient days, we've already talked about Blaster Dark Spirit, who is actually a Gold Paladin?
Yep.
But it has text on it that says that it's also a Shadow Paladin.
Yes. Well, it's a Shadow Paladin, and it has text on it that says it's also
a Gold Paladin. All right. And what was that again? You place him and you retire one of your opponent's rear guards?
In the front row with grade 2 or less, yes.
Well, there usually are grade 2 or less. Dark Saga Painter. I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
I have my cards right here in front of me.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the one that I'm looking at. And that's not the one I'm looking at. And that's not the one I'm looking at. Dark Saga Painter. All right. It's a grade 2. How exciting. It's got the intercept ability. GB1, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Diablo in its card name, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and discard it. So it just recycles a card, or cycles a card from your hand. Helps you with some deck thinning if you're into that kind of a thing. And continuous in the deck, if you have a Vanguard with Diablo in its card name, this great card gets grade -1. So if you have something that says search out a grade 1, even though this is a grade 2, you're allowed to search this card out. How nice, Jack.
I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Aware.
This is what happens when I try to record when I have a cough. I keep muting and unmuting myself.
You need some cough syrup.
One more spoon of cough syrup now. Oh, whoa. Oh. I'm losing my mind. Never mind. Okay. I think that's pretty much it.
No.
Do you want to talk about...
Let's talk about some more of these cards. Maiden Matcha.
You want to go through every single card, Will?
Well, the ones that are like the up
so
to
far we've
3s.
Gone through every single card.
I love this deck. All right, just tell me without reading it, what is Matcha supposed to do?
Matcha gets you cards.
Gets me cards out my deck?
Mm-hmm.
Blaster Dark Diablo cheats on paying the stride cost.
Yes.
And discards a card.
And causes your opponent to retire, yeah.
All right. Whirlwind of Darkness, Vortimer Diablo, we only have one for some reason.
You play one of him because you really, really don't want to ride Death Spray Diablo. Or not Death Spray, he's not a Diablo, that's why you don't want to run him. You don't want to ride Death Spray Dragon as your grade 3, so you run one Vortimer Diablo just because he's a Diablo, and you have 5 Diablo grade 3s, so you have better chances of not riding Death Spray Dragon.
All right, and we have a bunch of cool grade 4s. I know that there's a grade 4 that's specifically for Vortimer Diablo.
Yeah, well, it's specifically for Diablos, but he works well with Vortimer Diablo.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Aura Geysers that you used to have and that I will have soon. What makes Aura Geyser so critical for every Shadow Paladin deck?
Because it is the best first stride in the game by far.
What does it do? Which way? Wait, there's two Aura Geysers. So there's Aura Geyser Dragon and Aura
Black
Geyser
Dragon. Aura Geyser Dragon is the best first stride in the game.
And what does it do?
Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. You unflip a face down Supremacy Black Dragon Aura Geyser Dragon from your G zone, and you retire 2 of your rear guards. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you pay the cost. If you do, you reveal 2 cards from the top of your deck. This unit gets plus 5,000 power for each grade 1 or less card revealed with this effect, and then you put them into your hand. So basically, you're drawing 2 cards and drive checking 3. So basically, you're getting 5 cards back into your hand.
Nice. For
retiring 2, or if you have a Charon in your back row, you're only retiring 1 and counterblasting 1 and soul blasting 1.
Or if you use the Promising Knight David, you can also do the same with him.
But don't do that.
Yeah, because Full Bow's got that combo.
Full Bow Diablo is the way to go.
And Aura Geyser Doomed?
Aura Geyser Doomed is not as good as Aura Geyser Dragon.
He's more expensive.
No.
You have to persona flip, but you have to flip an Aura Geyser Dragon or to use.
I thought you meant like expensive, not cost expensive. Like money expensive.
No.
So Counterblast 1, choose a face down card named Aura Geyser Dragon from your G zone, turn it face up. Choose 3 of your rear guards and retire them, and reveal 2 cards from the top of your deck. For each grade 1 or less with this revealed with this card's effect, choose 1 of your opponent's rear guards and retire it, and then put the cards revealed with this effect into your hand. And then if you have 3 or more face-up Aura Geyser Dragons, this unit gets +1 critical. So basically, he can retire up. He can retire 0, 1, or 2 of your opponent's rear guards, and you still get to. And he gets a crit, and you get extra cards in your hand, and he still gets 3 drive checks.
Nice.
So he's good.
Anything about Carnivore Dragon that we should know? Is that like the big crunch dragon of the Shadow Paladins?
Yeah, he's a decent first stride. He's good for like power building bigger columns if you have to hit higher numbers. He's more situational. He's the one that just came out in the new trial deck. All right.
And we don't know too much about Luard, but that's going to be the new build.
The new build
of the
we
Shadow
kind of threw together. We kind of threw together this list.
We, as in Jack, disagreed with everything that I suggested for it.
That's not true at all.
Oh, okay. You let me keep Drag Wizard Morfessa. So,
yeah, because there was nothing else better to put.
A lot of things that are the same. Our starter's going to be... so most of the cards in this build are going to have the drag prefix on their name. So Drag Prince Root.
Yeah. And then you're going to have... Well, we're going to run through the list real fast like we did last time. Okay. So then you're going to run 8 crits, 4 draws, 4 heals. Your grade 1s, you're going to run 4 Karma Collectors, 3 Cherishing Knight Branwins, 3 Abyssal Owls, 2 Blackwing Swordbreakers, and 2 Nightmare Painters. And then you're going to run 4, your grade 2s, 4 Drag Wizard Morfessa, 2 Dark Knight Maiden Matcha, 4 Drag Wizard Liafael, and 1 Blaster Dark Spirit. For your grade 3s, you're running 4 Dragheart Luards, 3 Death Spray Dragons, and 1 Supremacy Dragon Cleric Sword Dragon. For your Stride deck, your grade 4, your G Zone, 4 Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablos, 2 Supremacy Black Dragon Aura Geyser Dragons, 4 Drag Driver Luard, 2 Dark Dragon Carnivore Dragon, 3 Dark Dragon Plot Maker Dragon, 1 Dark Element Dismal. So there's a lot of double dragons.
Yep, cool. They're the best kind of dragons.
Yep.
All right, so that starter, Drag Prince Root, all he does is, if he's being discarded to pay the cost of a card, he instead soul charges and gives plus 5,000. Karma Collector, we know that's the counter-charging Perfect Guard. Cherishing Knight Bronwyn is the stride fodder, except that it seeks out a Claret Sword. Don't speak the name, Claret Sword Dragon.
Well, you do play one in this deck.
Oh, you are playing one Claret Sword?
Yeah, because again, you don't want to run Death Spray ever. You don't want to ride him ever. So by playing one Claret Sword, you can search him out with if you have your stride fodder. So it's better. You don't want to ride Claret Sword, but it's better to ride Claret Sword than it is to ride Death Spray. Riding Death Spray is always terrible.
All right, and Drag Wizard Morfessa, we actually talked about her last week. She is a grade 2 that is a grade 1 in the drop zone. So a lot of... Say that again?
I said yep.
Yes. So a lot of the Luard stuff is centered around the ritual keyword, and ritual typically is the number of grade 1s that you have in your drop zone. So having a Morfessa be a grade 1 in your drop zone helps pay the cost or get you to that ritual meeting point.
Yep.
All right. We couldn't really come up with anything else good in the grade 2s. If anybody has a Luard build grade 2s that they can recommend, besides another Blaster Dark Spirit, because why not throw that dude all in there? And what else do we have to say about Luard?
He's an interesting deck. We've kind of gone over Luard over the past couple of episodes as the cards have been being revealed, and it seems like a good deck. I don't know if it's the best build. I kind of still feel like the best build will end up being a combination of Diablo and a combination of Luard, like together, or it'll just end up being, it'll end up being Revengers, because Revengers are stupid.
And we may just have to see if Luard gets even more support as time goes on.
Well, considering he's a main character, I'm sure he will. And Shadow Paladins are getting more support next set.
Yes.
I'm sure Shadow Paladins are here to stay. Luard may end up becoming a good build.
So why aren't we recommending Claret Sword builds?
Well, you see, Claret Sword, first of all, you got to run the big line of Aura Geysers. And while you want to do that in some builds, you can get away with not doing it in all builds because it's not necessary to every strategy. In Claret Sword, it's necessary to every strategy, and Claret Sword in and of itself is just not a very consistent deck. It's not a very powerful deck. And I think Bushiroad also realized this, and that's why we haven't seen the character that played Claret Sword since. But boy, does he have some dang good strides.
All right. Do you have any closing thoughts on the Shadow Paladins you want to give to our fair listeners?
Shadow Paladins are for life.
Well, I would think it's actually the Shadow Paladins are for death.
You're right.
Both eternal in their own way. All right. I would like for you to read, Jack, if you could, just one. We have time for one quick listener email. So please,
Alrighty.
Could you please read this one?
This one is from Cole M. And it says, hey guys, ... Just wanted to say I'm a big fan. Been listening since episode numero uno. You guys are doing good stuff. Just curious though, would it be possible if I could record with you guys? I think it'd be a blast. I think it's be a blast. There was a typo there. It's be a blast. Thanks. Keep it up. From Cole McCune. I don't know who this Cole guy is, but he sure sounds like a real loser.
Don't give out people's last names unless they've given us permission.
I'm sorry, Cole McCune.
I'm sorry, Cole. I just want to say, for the first year, we're trying to keep it to our, core squad, see how things go, see how things work. We have a hard enough time getting ourselves together to record at specific times. We might consider adding more people after, a year or so when we are really comfortable and know what we're doing. But at this point, we're not looking for new voices on the podcast. But you know what? You stay strong in the Vanguard world. Maybe you'll make something of yourself. If you win a competition or something, we might want to have you on for an interview. You make yourself notable, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
But stay strong in Vanguard, Cole McCune. Oop, I said his last name too. Shame on me.
Cole Cole MCCUNE.
Just Cole M. Cole M.
Cole M. Cole.
Thanks for writing in, Cole. And
thank you, Cole McCune. Cole M. I mean,
if anyone else would like to write in to our podcast, what address would they use, Jack?
They would use at PKMNcast.
No, that is incorrect.
At drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com.
That is correct.
drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, so our term of the week is going to be a double term. 2 R's. RR, like a railroad.
Ritual/retire.
Or retire/ritual.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we talked about ritual before. So retire is, they kind of go hand in hand in Shadow Paladins. You're retiring your grade 1s to get off your effects, and then you're using your grade 1s in your drop zone to make your effects more powerful in your rituals. There's not really much to say. We've kind of gone over it over.
Let's just, for clarity's sake, and if we have people who are still new to the game.
Claret sword's sake?
No, what? I said clarity, not claret, which is a type of wine. Retiring means taking a rear guard from a rear guard circle and putting it to the drop zone. That is retiring a rear guard. Taking it from your hand to the drop zone is not retiring. From the deck to the drop zone is not retiring. From the soul to the drop zone is not retiring. From a rear guard circle to the drop zone is retiring. There you go. All right. This has been, we're a bit tired. We're ready for the Thanksgiving holiday. Jack, do you want to wish our listeners a happy Thanksgiving?
Well, to all of our listeners in the US of A, happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day, happy Black Friday.
Oh, there's nothing happy about Black Friday. Oof. But I wish a happy Thanksgiving to our listeners all around the world. Even if they don't celebrate it as a holiday, I want them to enjoy the spirit of gratitude and giving that comes with the holiday of thanks and giving. Look at that. How sweet am I? We'd appreciate it if you would like to give us thanks by giving us a review in iTunes or whatever platform you use for listening to podcasts. We'd be very grateful for that. I'd like to say thank you to SBJ and Nick Burgess for their support and for the music that Nick Burgess has provided us for you to enjoy. And I think at this season of giving and thanks, I would once again remind people that you can find Nick Burgess's music on iTunes and listen to it so he can get 1/100th of a cent per play. His name is Nick, and his last name is Burgess. If you look for him, you will find his fantastic album, Wizard Planet, on iTunes, and his other albums as well, if you enjoy that kind of music. If you want to reach us, once again, email is drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to reach us on Twitter, the show Twitter account is @drive_check. My personal account is @washinthesink. Cole's personal account is @Cole_Mc. Oh, I shouldn't have said his last name again.
Gosh,
I'm
darn
like
it.
a train on a track. I cannot stop. But just go forward.
It's okay. We have been in this Skype call for over 2 hours now.
Wow, that's true. It's almost like an episode of Pokemon Podcast, but not quite.
Burning some bridges.
Stop. Go for it. Finish us off, Jack.
And I am @drive_Jack. I wish it was pull up a chair, but it's not. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Drive Check Podcast. The world is indeed comic, but the joke is on mankind. See y'all next time.
You don't know where that quote comes from?
I don't. Please tell me.
HP.